Hey guys, welcome back to Scottsdale Living podcast. Today I'm super excited. We got Zack Stewart here with the Recovery Room, which is an amazing IV drip therapy place. They do a whole bunch more, but this is going to be a great conversation, man. Just an amazing guy. Appreciate you being here. Give us a little bit. So, I mean, you come from Hawaii, firefighter in the past, kids, outdoorsman, black belt in Jiu Jitsu. Dude, how do you end up with the IV drip place?
Well, number one, John, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Scottsdale Living, thank you guys for having me here. I actually love this story in my life. It's a cool story. It fell into my lap, and it's like some of the best things that happen to you in life just come unplanned.
Totally.
And that's what happened with IV therapy. So years ago, I was a full-time fireman for, big city.
Yeah.
And always wanted to be a fireman since I was a kid.
Sure.
And ended up being one for 22 years. And halfway through my career, I was walking down the sidewalk in Scottsdale one day, and I see this place that's about to go up.
Sure.
For vitamin therapy.
Right.
I have no idea what it is. So I just step in to kind of talk to the guy, and there's a guy at the front there, and he's a doctor, cardiologist. Hey, man, are you interested in IV therapy?
Right.
I said, well, I'm actually a medic, and I was inquiring like maybe, can medics work for you or whatever.
Sure.
Like, yeah, absolutely. It's like I didn't even think about having a medic work for me, but that's all you guys do in the field is IVs,
Totally. It's a great source of employees, I'm sure, for it. Yeah.
Yeah. And as a fireman, we work 10, 24-hour shifts a month. So I had these days off where I could devote to this.
Sure.
Sure enough, he and I take off on this like grassroots adventure. At the time, no one knew that you could do IV therapy for hangovers, for headaches, for
So what is
flu.
the timeline? Is this 5 years ago, 6 years ago?
No, this was 13 years ago.
Oh man,
I've been doing it quite a while.
Yeah.
Now naturopaths, I'm not claiming like I'm the first one. Like naturopaths and all that had been doing it.
Sure.
And our country's view on kind of, some people don't like things that aren't prescribed medications and stuff like that.
I think it's kind of changing a little bit, though, isn't it?
I was going to say now everyone's leaning that way. Naturopathic remedies and healing their body with diet, with the
big
sun.
Pharma,
vitamins.
dude. Big pharma.
It is. So people really love it now and realize that you can save lots of money, lots of time waiting in the ER for stuff that's very simple to fix, a lot of it. So he and I started hitting the clubs, the bars. Hey, have you
handing out the flyers?
You ever had an IV for a hangover?
Right.
What? You can get IVs for hangovers? Yeah, you should try it out. And so we just grassrooted this thing. Started doing events, and
So was it a physical location at the time?
Yep. He had a physical location, and he was a busy cardiologist.
Sure.
So he actually was busy with his career and pretty much turned the keys over to me.
That's great, dude.
It was just like, you run it.
Right.
Call me if you need anything.
Yeah, totally.
Thing. And I developed these amazing relationships and kind of got a reputation for my IV skills.
Sure.
And so COVID happens and he gets shut down for being a non-essential business.
Yeah.
So they shut us down for months.
Right.
So I went and opened my own mobile.
Right.
So I just started going.
Dude, I had so many IVs during COVID. I mean, I think I had COVID 3 times.
That was my bread and butter.
Right.
So I started, people were like, wait a minute, you're willing to come over to my house and I'm sick? And I was exposed to it as a fireman. So didn't even think about it. And just developed this huge clientele, and everyone's like, you should open your own thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about it. And because I was grateful for the opportunity that was given me, I went back to him and spoke with him and said, I'd like to partner with you. I'd like to invest and I have some ideas.
Right.
And he kind of scoffed at me and was like, oh, there's other ways you can make money. So he wasn't having it. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to go open my own.
Right.
And he said, oh, you're going to go open your own.
Yeah.
And I said, right down the street, I'm going to open my own. So I did.
Totally.
I kind of get, when I get challenged.
Get the fire in the eyes.
I'm like, oh, you're challenging me.
Sagittarius too. I love it.
So I got that competitive drive. I'm like, cool, I'm going to go do my own. And so I took all the things that I learned that I would do different because it wasn't my business.
Yeah, totally.
First off, a lot of people were always uncomfortable that the owner was never present.
Right.
So I said, I need to be a very present owner. Know my customers, care about how they're doing.
Sure.
Pick employees that share the same values as I do. And then I wanted to create an environment. I'm proud to be from Hawaii, and, my upbringing, and I wanted to add a little bit of that to the clinic. And people seem to really like that. They come in, it's just
100%,
a relaxing environment. And
so tell us a little bit about, because I feel like it's just kind of starting. I mean, I've heard some people talking about it, but there's almost a stigmatism, like it's kind of unregulated. And I think some people worry about, because I mean, you got just random people show up at your house and stick an IV in your arm.
Yes.
And it's like, where did this come from? What do you know? Where is this stuff?
I'm glad that you asked that, because for us, we are so...
Well, you guys are buttoned up,
We're very big on doing things the right way and quality. My partner is a doctor. He's a high-risk OB doctor.
Okay.
And he shares the same passion with naturopathic medicine. I have a naturopathic doctor that's a part of our group, Dr. Ann Sarah. She's, man, I love her.
Right.
She's such a kind person.
Shout out. There you go.
Yeah, Dr. Ann, we love you. And so she sees, our customers too. And she owned her own clinic in Tahoe and here in Tempe. She was had her own clinic for 25 years. So having her is like a blessing.
Yeah, totally.
And I continue to learn even more from her. And so having those things in place, we follow regulations that are currently set.
Sure.
Having a medical director. And when it comes to like the mobile process, that's the thing that concerns me at times with, people just show up and.
Yeah, totally. And you don't know the chain or where it came from or how they handled the stuff. I think it worries some people.
Sure. So having a brick and mortar building, having a med room where stuff is stored in a sterile environment, and preparing the IV just before the nurse comes to administer the therapy, we feel is kind of separates us from other places.
And people can walk in there and see it, right? So, I mean, they know, this is legit. It wasn't just in your kitchen and you were slinging some stuff together.
Exactly. All our stuff's stored and we document, what we're administering in our system. So we really try to do things the right way. And I got that from being a fireman, just being meticulous about doing things the right way. And
100%. So, I mean, tell us a little bit. I mean, hangover's great. Been there, done that. It works. Sickness, COVID, whatever, really good too. What's the other benefits? Like, I mean, as a natural course of your life, is it beneficial just, once a month, once a week, just when you need it? What do you think?
So blessed to have the location that we have. Yeah. And because of that, obviously people just think hangover.
Yeah.
And I try to change the stigma of that because there's so many other things that we can address with that. Stomach issues, right? For food poisoning, migraine headaches, high dose magnesium can help a lot with that, and fluids, simple stuff like that. Severe colds, allergies, skin and beauty therapy. There's vitamins and antioxidants that can help with complexion. Even modern medicine is turning to high dose vitamin C therapy with dealing with cancer stuff. So there's a lot of really important things that we can address with the vitamin therapy.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? And I mean, that whole swing from big pharma, which we were talking about just a few minutes ago, to the more naturopathic thing. And I mean, I think this is a big part of it, right? It's self-care and doing stuff that maybe works. It's not, prescribed.
And then we get into NAD therapy, which a lot of people are becoming familiar with for cognitive function, for energy, cellular energy, weight loss. The stuff's incredible.
So I'm not familiar with that. What is it?
So NAD is nicotinamide adenylonucleotide is what that stands for. You don't want to say that. Dude. That's why we say NAD. It's a derivative of niacin, so it creates kind of a systemic flushing effect, but all your cells in your body are comprised of NAD. Okay. So as you age, like everything else, it starts to decline, and that starts to affect certain systems in your body. And so supplementing with that can really help. And has been studies shown that people that had hereditary issues like Alzheimer's and dementia, that supplementing with NAD can prevent or delay the onset of those type of processes in your body, which is crazy. Really substantial findings. And it's a pretty popular thing right now. Joe Rogan talked about it's where it really took off. Yeah. We were trying to tell people like, listen, this stuff is the jam. And then Rogan,
Joe does some good stuff.
He does, and he went on when he had COVID, and some IV therapist, naturopath, gave him NAD, and he's like, okay, I was better in a day. Yeah. And so everyone's like, oh, it's that's crap. No way. I'm legit. Telling you, man, when you get sick and you get some vitamins and fluids and then get some NAD, it can help you recover quickly.
Totally.
Everyone's different. People have different immune systems. Some people expect when they hear me say that I'll be better immediately.
Right.
If you're healthy, you will recover quickly.
Yeah,
Some people,
totally.
You'll definitely feel better in the next couple of days. It'll substantially shorten the recovery process.
That's crazy, man. It's amazing, actually.
Yeah. And the big one that always shocks me is, like I said, the migraines.
Yeah.
Dr. Myers came up with the very first vitamin bag, the Myers cocktail.
Yeah, okay. So
Everyone's
I wonder where that came from.
Familiar with that. Yep. And he used it for colds, for flus, for body aches, for muscle recovery, physical therapy recovery, high dose mag, high dose vitamin C, all your B vitamins and calcium.
Wow.
Very
so it's just an overload shot,
bag,
right?
And it's a great bag.
That's hilarious. I had no idea it was a doctor. I thought it was just like a marketing name, Myers IV.
And so magnesium is a smooth muscle relaxer. So there's a lot of systems in your body that are comprised of smooth muscle.
Sure.
And so the magnesium helps a ton with like constricted vessels in the brain and stuff.
So dude, you got to spend a lot of, you're very knowledgical about this. Is that just a continuing education? I'm not a doctor, but my bachelor's was in kinesiology.
Okay.
And,
I played football at University of Hawaii.
Okay, cool.
And where I grew
the Rainbows, right?
Yeah, the Rainbow Warriors, where I grew up. And then, being a fireman, I just saw so many different things.
Sure.
That we addressed and went on calls with, and over time you just start to accumulate a lot of knowledge around very intelligent people in the medical community, where you continue to learn things. Then I get in with the old place, and I learned so much on my own because he just turned it over to me.
Sure.
And I just started diving in and learning and learned from him, continued to increase my knowledge from there, studying and my own personal fitness and stuff, what worked for me.
It's a killer journey you're on, dude. I love it.
It's interesting, because society, we tend to, if someone doesn't have like a specific degree, you aren't qualified to do something. And there's many different paths that you can take in life to get to the same destination.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree.
I would never take away from a medical doctor or a naturopath. Obviously, they've spent years studying, but I'm saying there's other paths in life where you can accumulate knowledge and become versed in a certain subject.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. Yeah. So a little bit, it had to be hard. So what was the turning point going from being a firefighter, which you grew up wanting to do, right? And all of a sudden, you leave that. You're not a firefighter anymore, right?
No. Yeah. So, not podcasts are fun and happy, but I was a fireman, and my first daughter passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
When I was a fireman and I was at work when it happened.
Sure.
And for me, as the years went on, I always associated it with I was gone.
Yeah.
So,
bad juju. Yeah.
Thank your firemen, your police for the sacrifices, your nurses.
Right.
They're away from their families. And we say it and people are like, oh, yeah. No, you miss things.
Yeah,
You're gone 10 days a month.
Right.
And things happen, loved ones, injuries, and you're not around. And you carry that load with you all the time.
The job's essential, right? So you've got to be there,
We need those people out in the field, and they're sacrificing.
Yeah.
There's 4th of July's, Christmases where we're on shift and family has to come spend Christmas with you at the station. And those are great memories. Those are also times, though, that you are away.
Yeah.
And so over the years, as I was seeing things happen to children and stuff, it was a very tight connection.
Yeah.
To what
100%.
I went through, and it was time for me to move on. And So,
different path in life.
Yep.
So what was the path that took you from Hawaii to here? Did you go straight from Hawaii to Arizona?
Yeah. My job, things back home, it was always a challenge surviving.
Sure.
It's so expensive there.
Right.
And I miss it every day, but there comes a time where you're like, okay, I don't know if I can own a house here.
Yeah, it's crazy,
short of working 3 jobs, and all the locals, we're working 3 jobs, not enjoying the ocean.
Right.
Everyone else is enjoying it, visiting. And then
you got to struggle just to survive, right?
Yeah, I had come out here a few times, and it was just at the time it was dirt cheap.
Yeah,
and I'm like, man, you can live like a king out here and not even have to work that hard.
Yeah,
and the opportunity I got on the fire department.
Right
at the time, it was so competitive.
Right.
I got one of the 10 jobs out of 18,000 applicants. That's how competitive it was.
Dude, that's crazy.
I know it's changed.
Yeah.
Because what the fire service has to address moving forward, in my opinion, is that you're dealing with a whole new generation.
Yeah.
And they don't view things the way that my generation or my dad's generation, we viewed, having a family, home ownership, stability. The current generation really likes to travel.
Yeah.
Being locked in one place or one job.
God bless them, though. It's really cool, dude.
I understand.
It's a different thing.
If you watched your parents struggle for 30 years and they get this pension,
2 weeks of vacation a year and that kind of thing.
They're watching their life they didn't enjoy life. I get why someone would say, I'm going to do a different path. So it's nothing where I'm slamming them. I'm just saying that those government jobs haven't addressed how to.
100%.
So you've watched the numbers of applicants dwindle a lot and high quality applicants.
Sure.
You were getting the cream of the crop back in the day.
Right.
The athletes, the guys that were like the pillars, right?
Well, you got the pension and you got the, 30 years in and done. Exactly.
It was an incredible job. And now it's not to say that it isn't, but the call volume is just quadrupled.
Yeah.
And so the guys literally are getting zero sleep. And they're coming home and you're a zombie. And you have a wife that's like, hey, we got this baby that I've been with 24 hours.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Your turn. And you're like, I've been up all night.
Right.
And you see why police and fire, we lead in divorce.
Yeah.
You have to have an incredibly understanding partner.
Sure.
And I feel for the partners just as much what they have to.
Right.
I mean, my ex-wife, we're good friends, but she said she would get anxiety all the time. If the phone rang at night, like, oh, is my husband dead? Or, and then what really made me happy that I took the risk into owning a business was my daughter was with me in my truck one day driving. And she looks at me and she's like, Dad, I'm really happy that, you retired.
Yeah.
And I said, well, why? And she said, well, I used to not know if you were coming home or not.
Wow. Dude,
when your kid says that to you, it's like,
wow.
It hits you deep.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, I'm glad you're there for him.
Try not to get choked up. You're driving.
No doubt. Yeah, totally.
Geez.
So it's been a good move.
It was a good move.
Yeah.
I mean, everything in life has its positives and negatives.
Sure.
Fire is the most stable job you can have. You're getting your check. You have your benefits. You go to Business Owner.
Yeah, dude.
Am I getting paid next week?
I know, right?
It's all on you.
Yeah, 100%.
It really is all on you and how hard and how much you want to put into it. So the first 2 years, I was like, I have so much respect for small business owners.
Yeah.
I did not have a day off.
Right.
I did not honestly have a day off.
It's kind of a passion of love though, too, right? I mean, it's the job, even though you're working all the time, it's like you do it because you love it. I mean, it's that dream, like, oh, I can spend the time with my family. But I mean, like I've seen you with your daughter. She comes into the shop, right? And she hangs out with you at meetings and stuff.
You are your own boss. So she can be at my office. Yeah. And if I do want to take time off now, I did not take any time off in the beginning.
Right.
You have to put that work in to get the thing off the ground.
Totally.
But the beautiful thing of business ownership is years later, when you have employees that you trust and stuff, you can then start to enjoy like some time for yourself and your family.
Well, so many business owners never get there, right? Because it's truly, and I've been an entrepreneur since I was 28, so it's system and process, right? I mean, if you don't build those systems in the process, you're never going to be able to take the vacations or do anything. So it's somebody coming from the fire department to running your own business. How did you learn that stuff?
I still have so much to learn. I can be better at certain things. I apply what I learned in the fire service is going above and beyond for customers. Fix whatever the problem is, right? Doing whatever I can to make them happy was the first thing I just carried, and treating people like family. Number two, where I failed or continue to just need to learn is when you're a fireman, you know your tasks. Yeah. When you come in and you have a boss that will make sure if you don't know that you're going to know, like you need to do this.
Accountability.
And
that's
do
the
it
hard
now.
part,
like,
right?
Yeah. So when you're your own boss, if you don't have that trait in you where you're a self-starter, it's going to be hard for you to do well in business. You can come in one day and be like, okay, all my
I do that tomorrow, man. I'll do it tomorrow.
All my stuff's ordered and, I've got my employees. Cool. What am I going to do? You need to find things or you need to think about how can I get more revenue in?
Constantly improving.
You have to constantly be analyzing yourself and be honest with yourself if you're not putting in the right effort, or be humble and just go to people that do have it and ask them, what do you do? Or, can you help give me guidance? Go to Scottsdale Living meetings and stuff where you can interact with people that can help your business.
It's crazy, right? Because I mean, I see so many, like, that's what this whole thing, that's why we did this whole thing, is to have small business owners to just have a community, not only a networking group, right? But I mean, community where you could feel free to ask questions of other people that are in the same thing. And there's so many business owners that won't do it. You know, it's mind-boggling.
I mean, because of you guys, you turned me on to Burtis from Bloom Rock Partners.
Oh, are you using Burtis?
Of course.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a godsend.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not an accountant.
Right.
So he's doing my books and he's the man.
He dials it in too, right?
And he's good.
Yeah.
And you realize you cannot succeed without those type of people implemented into your life. You have to have those type of things. So
yeah, and it's funny because like he's a fractional CFO, right? So I mean, it's kind of a new thing, you know, the CMO, the fractional CMO, CFO, that whole thing. Yeah. It's amazing because you get like Burtis to hire him and, you know, come work for you 50 hours a week. Dude, I don't make enough money to do that.
Right.
You know
not cheap.
Right. Yeah. 100%. But you get him and you don't need him that whole time. Right. Mm-hmm. But you get that expertise and you don't have to do it. So, I mean, I think those things are great.
I would advise anyone listening to this, you know, to reach out to Burtis.
Sure.
If you're looking for an accountant, fractional CFO, like you spoke about, he can help with direction, vision of your business. If you're thinking like, oh, I want a franchise, I want to do another location, you need to plan for that.
Yeah.
You can't just jump into that, or
100%.
It has to be planned out. So you need someone that can help you do that.
And he does amazing plans.
Numbers are numbers, crazy. Man. Like
right?
You can't argue them. If you look at them and you're like, this is what it is. It is an eye opener for you where you need to improve at. Right.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
So what's been the biggest challenge you think in being a small business owner?
Today, I would say in 2023 is, you know, I'm meticulous about my employees because we're dealing with medical treatment and you're dealing with an invasive procedure.
Right.
2020, they were graduating some nurses without doing clinicals. Which is kind of scary.
Was that because of COVID?
Yeah. They didn't want to, they couldn't be at the hospital.
Right.
And so, you know, it's really important to me that I have people that are caring, that are fun.
Sure.
But very good at IVs.
Yeah.
People are paying good money to get this service.
Dude, I've had them where they missed 3 or 4 times. And
everybody has a story.
The whole thing,
and I listen to every single one of them, and I take them personal when someone's like, I went to my doctor and poked me. And I, as the owner, have gone to my own doctors and been poked 6 times and had the doctor come in and go, oh, this was the wrong guy for you to miss 6 times. He owns an IV clinic, you know, and I'm sitting there like traumatized, like, wow, you know.
Yeah. Stop sticking me with the needle.
I almost need those experiences though, because it really makes me empathetic to my client base.
Sure.
Like I'm like, okay, I need to always be screening my employees and making sure that they're good at their skills. So I have staff, all ER nurses or BSN nurses, RN, BSN, naturopathic doctor, highly
So do you
skilled
bring on EMTs? Like, you know, paramedics?
I have a medic and I do have a medic too, and she's a flight medic. She's fantastic. Flight medics, all they do is they're starting IVs in a moving plane.
Yeah,
very
high
skilled.
Stress situations.
And all these ER nurses too, they all are doing probably 10 to 15 IVs a shift. So they're very skilled.
They're tuned in, totally.
In the beginning, I made the mistake where people would come to me for a job, and I just automatically assume like, they're good at IVs, right?
Yeah.
Why else would you apply here? That's not the case. They come in like, well, I want to be in Old Town, want to be in a fun scene. And I didn't even think about it. And then I'm watching them. I'm like, okay, this ain't gonna work. I'm like, hey, this ain't gonna work. You know.
So are you putting them through a class? I mean, how do you do it now?
Yes, I do. I vet them for a few days, take them out with me on mobiles, and then I'll kind of turn it over and watch them. And they say it's stressful doing it in front of me, but I mean, you have to do it in front of a surgeon. You have to do it in front of a trauma doc. He's going to say, I need a line started. So you have to perform under pressure.
So with Recovery Room, it's not only people can come in, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, you guys are mobile too. So is it mobile all the time, or is it fixed hour thing or something?
Yeah, we do it while we're open. So we're open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, and then 9 to 3 on the weekends. Okay. But I have the phone switched over to me off hours, and if people call and then I'll get someone on it. We can get somebody out there, and we do wellness labs. So we have a partnership with Vibrant America. So on my website, you can go on, and it's really cool now. You can order like, I want a gut zoomer test. So I want my GI test. You can go on and order the kit. then Vibrant America contacts you and sends someone to your house for $25,
Dude,
draws
cool.
your blood,
right,
and then handles all the labs for you.
Wow.
And then you get your results back. It's
right.
really cool. So you don't have to go sit at a blood draw place.
Yeah, totally.
So it's a cool service that they're doing now. And then,
dude, I got to do that. So I went to Sonoran Labs. It was like an hour.
See what I'm saying?
I'm sitting there for like 45 minutes, dude.
And we've had clients that are like in Gilbert,
right,
and they'll drive out to do it.
Dude, that's crazy.
So awesome.
Right.
Awesome service. And then,
so they booked that right through your website?
Right on our website. It says Shop Wellness.
Mm-hmm.
You click on that, and we have an actual page on Vibrant America made us our own page, and it's got our labs on there.
Oh, dude, that's
cool.
And
then if there's something you're confused about, you can do a 15-minute consult with Dr. N, and she can tell you exactly what she feels.
Oh, that's great. Right.
And then...
and so do you kind of implement that into the IVs that you may give them or the therapies? I mean, can you use that blood work to identify some things?
She will. When she sees stuff that she feels like they're deficient in or that will help them, she'll recommend certain IV vitamin therapy that will address some of the stuff that they're dealing with. And so I think it's really cool. And inside Scottsdale Skincare, we have a full-time
that's cool
esthetician in there.
Yeah.
And she does hydrofacials, microneedling, and it really blends.
And this is in your building?
In our office.
Right.
And she's got microneedling and everything. Right. And the hydrofacials are amazing.
Yeah.
I can tell you first.
I'm going to have to check that out.
Oh,
yeah. Cool,
your face looks like a glazed donut for like a week, but it makes you look a lot younger. You know, you're like, totally. Okay, I like this. So that it's really cool. And it's relaxing and it blends together because we have IVs that address skin.
Right.
So your vitamins like lysine, biotin, glutathione is the master antioxidant in the body, right? So it helps with white blood cell repair. And so there's people throughout the world that they do it for skin lightening, for blemishes. High dose glutathione over like 6 to 8 weeks of regular therapy can even out your skin tone. It's crazy, dude. It's amazing, man.
Right.
Yeah, for oxidative stress, because it's the major the most primary antioxidant. When you have oxidative stress, that can cause damage to your heart and your cells. Doing regular glutathione treatment is good. I also read some studies that doing it nebulized is actually the highest absorption rate other than IV.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And most people don't know that they're doing the capsules. So glutathione doesn't survive the GI tract very well. I know they're making new products called liposomal, which gets down into that small intestine to where it needs to be. But nebulize straight into your lungs, it's like a 96% absorption rate. So we have oxygen therapy.
Right.
And we could actually do nebulized glutathione too, which is
that's crazy. So you guys have, so it started out as just, I'm hungover, right? And now it's grown into something that's really helpful and beneficial, right?
Listen, your body wants to fix itself on its own. So
just give it a boost.
We've heard these amazing doctors like Dr. Saladino, who I'm a huge fan of, the Carnivore MD.
Right.
I mean, I'm a proponent of the carnivore diet.
Yeah.
I love it. Grass-fed beef and free-range eggs, raw dairy, fruit. That's like my diet, and honey. Man, I got on that. My whole GI system completely changed.
Oh, really?
I was having issues. I lost my gallbladder like 13 years ago.
Okay.
Things were not ideal.
Right.
And I got on that and just everything went back to normal.
Right.
And you trim up and inflammation.
Sure.
And so that exposure to sunlight, regular exercise, and vitamins with the right vitamins. I mean, I never get sick, man.
Yeah, that's
and I
crazy.
think I developed a good immune system as a fireman. I was exposed to a lot of
all
stuff.
the time. Yeah.
So I can definitely, I know that's one reason, but I don't get sick. And it's, I think regular vitamin D from the sun and, watching what you eat and stuff, avoiding those seed oils that they're putting in everything now.
Yeah.
You got to watch it. Like you look at every snack.
Yeah. Everything's loaded up with it. It's crazy. Even the stuff that's supposed to be good for you is not good for you.
It is. Yeah. Because they know people won't look a lot of times.
100%.
But if you do, and I feel bad because like when I listen to Dr. Saladino, he's so informative and a lot of people want to have fun.
Right.
They want to enjoy the foods they want. They don't want to hear him out. And they're like, oh, he's being negative. No, he's not.
Right.
Your foods are being poisoned.
Yeah.
They are. It sucks, but it's just the way it is.
Dude, it's crazy. Like traveling to Europe, it's such a different experience eating.
Yep.
And I mean, like, dude, the eggs are a different color, and they're
My friend
not
just
in the
said
fridge.
that. He went to
man.
Spain and he's like, Zach, these eggs were bright
they're
orange.
vibrant. Yeah. And they're sitting on the counter. They're not in the refrigerator.
And you will never see a medication advertised on TV in Europe. They just don't. To get cough syrup, you have to go to a pharmacy.
Yeah.
So they just rely on naturopathic ways. And your ancestors weren't eating chips.
Oh, we're
stuff.
So processed, man.
Yeah.
The U.S. is so processed. It's crazy.
People in Hawaii and some of my ancestors, on the Hawaiian side, you had some of the most physically fit specimens of all time. And over time, with the introduction of a lot of the diet from Asia, and the noodles and the seed oils and all that, there's a lot of obesity now.
Yeah.
It saddens me a lot because you have a culture that's
just wasn't based on that originally. Yeah, totally.
They were.
So I think we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago, but like right now, the IV therapy concept is all over the country, right? But is there like a franchise nationwide? I mean, it doesn't seem to be like that's happened. So is that you? I mean, have you thought about that?
I hope to do that. My only concern is I'm really big on quality.
Yeah.
And I built this name on my own.
Totally.
And once you get to that level, it's beyond your reach at that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, that's a conversation I have to have with people that have more life knowledge than I do.
Sure.
Like a Domino's.
Right.
They're all over the country.
Yeah.
They started out in a big chain and McDonald's, same thing. That's the challenge when you go into that realm is how do you keep your name,
the consistency
solid and it's hard. But
right.
I've had some people say, well, that's not your problem at that time. You sold it to somebody else, but it's still my name.
Yeah, totally.
It's like your last name, right?
Right.
So that's where I need to gain knowledge from people that are more successful in that space.
Is that something you want to do though? I mean, you see something like that in your future?
I would, yeah, because I just think there's so many benefits to it. And I like seeing our customers leave happy and feel better. And I would like to start with like maybe Gilbert or something like that. And
you just got to follow the bar areas, that I mean, for the marketing part of it,
yeah,
dude.
for sure.
You know what I mean? Downtown Gilbert or whatever.
I've had people reach out to me from other states, though, that would be cool. You dive into a realm where there's new state regulations, what they require, and it's a very new field. So there's a lot of we don't know what we think about this.
Yeah, totally.
We're trying to decide what we feel about it.
And it's not really federally mandated or regulated, right? It's more of a state level regulation.
State level, yeah. But I know there's a couple chains that one of them did get in trouble because there's guidelines and stuff that you have to follow, but a lot of it's uncertain. So
100%.
I know they're working on that stuff and always try to stay up on it and what the new changes are. And
so tell us a little bit about you. So, I mean, you were just in Montana fishing, tore it up, right?
Yeah.
So you get out of the office, what do you want to go do?
Jiu Jitsu is my passion.
Yeah. Where do you train here in the Valley? Obviously?
Yeah, I teach at Alliance Jiu Jitsu in Scottsdale with my good friend Tiago, who's the owner of the gym.
Okay.
My daughter's been doing it since she was 3 and she's 10 now. So she's amazing. And I can honestly say, man, like,
don't mess with her, right?
Having God in her life and jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
She's disciplined. She's respectful. I don't have to tell her things. Like she takes initiative. Sure. And I really think that's jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu it's become so trendy in all these podcasts and big names are talking about it now. Right. But all of us who've been doing it for years knew that
something there, huh?
To do that for years and dedicate yourself to it. It brings out all these amazing traits in you.
Sure.
And it teaches you every day. One day,
humility is probably
you're
what
the
it's
bat
teaching you, right?
Or the windshield. The next day you're the bug, right? Totally. One day you're dominating. The next day you're like, it's not my day today. So body sore. And especially now I'm like almost 45. So it's grappling at my age. It's not when I was in my 20s. But I still love it. And the people there that I, train with are so humble and they're all good people. And, there was a stigma for years. Oh, jiu-jitsu, you're an MMA fighter. Oh, you just go fight people and stuff. It's like, no, actually all the people I train with are, they just aren't like that.
Yep.
Because you have this underlying confidence that you can handle yourself if you have to.
Right. So you don't need to prove yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a good feeling being a girl dad, knowing your daughter trains, and I think there's a lot of people out there now that don't respect boundaries with females. And
Sound of Freedom, dude. Have you seen this one yet?
I'm gonna go see it this week. And
tough.
To be honest with you, I have put it off because I know it's gonna sadden me. And it's my parents didn't have to think about this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I got a daughter like you, dude.
I go to the grocery store and I'm like making sure she's always with me. The biggest, hardest thing for me is last week I took her to Morgan Whalen. That's her favorite.
Yeah.
And you're at this big venue and she's got to use the restroom and you have to separate from her. And it just creates a lot of anxiety. Yep. And then, when you've lost a child already, it heightens that even more. So,
and there's creepers out there, man. Even here,
there's just there's some bad people out there.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And so, I'm actually, with encouragement from my pastor and his staff, I'm actually going to
shout out. Let's give them a shout out.
Yeah,
Impact.
Pastor Travis.
Gotta love Impact. That's
Travis Hearn and Natalie Hearn. Love you guys. You're a big part of my life. And I decided that I am going to move forward with writing a book. And
that's cool. I love it.
I want to just try to bring comfort to people. I'm just going to talk about all the things when you lose a loved one.
Yeah. Especially a child, dude. That's hard.
Man, like all the things you go through. And it's going to actually be hopefully a part of trying to complete my grieving process.
Sure.
I'm going to talk about the stages
where
I was at in my life.
Totally.
And the divorce rate behind losing a kid is like 96%. And I'm unfortunately was one of those.
Sure.
My wife and I just could not, my ex-wife, we couldn't make it through. We're great friends, but we just couldn't make it through on the married. People grieve differently.
Yeah.
They process things differently and how it affects you.
It's just raw. It's got to be just raw, dude. Right.
And coming together and coping in the same manner, it's the odds are low.
Yeah.
And we had attended this group called the Miss Foundation, where it was all parents that lost kids, and you hear some of the stories, it just absolutely breaks your heart.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
I'm really sorry that happened to you. It's a tough one for sure.
It's going to be a really good thing for grieving because as you write, it's bringing all these things up, but I think it'll be a really good thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anytime you have grief or sorrow, it's so much better to bring that out in the open and collaborate with other people and talk to them and just share the experience.
Mm-hmm.
You bottle that up, dude, it's like anything. It's going to kill you eventually,
Yeah. And I didn't mean to get off subject, but that's what jiu-jitsu. So where I was getting with that was jiu-jitsu. Actually, one night we just lost her, about a year and a half and end up getting divorced.
Right.
And middle of the night, like 2 a.m, I wake up and I had this heavy sadness for the first time. I couldn't believe it took almost 2 years.
Sure.
It all sank in, like all that I lost a lot.
Yeah.
A kid and my wife I was with her for we dated 6 years and then, like 16 years almost.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And she's from Hawaii too. And it just sank in at 2 a.m. and it was like God talked to me. And for some reason, I was like, I'm going to start training jiu-jitsu and I'm going to get my black belt to honor her.
Wow, that's cool.
The next day started training 4 to 5 days a week for 10 years straight. And I never missed to do it for her. And then when I got it, it was absolutely the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah. Yep. Good for you, man. That's really, really cool.
It was really emotional. And then I had this vision that night that I was going to introduce it to my little one.
Right.
She was only like 1.5 at the time. And everything that night in this vision that I had all panned out.
Dude, that's fantastic.
She took into it and like she is obsessed with it. I thought I would introduce it to her and hope that it would stick. It absolutely stick. So
love it.
Then that was my dream.
So it's going to be a lifelong thing for her, man.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. That's great.
I mean, she could be a very young black belt,
right?
16, 18, which is
that's crazy.
Insane. And she could have a lot of opportunities with the sport. So that excites me. And so that black belt, man, has so much meaning for me when I got that. Just a personal.
Well, you earned it, dude. Right.
So every time I tie it on, I think about her. And so
good for you, dude.
Yeah.
Well, it's great talking to you, man. I really appreciate being here. Give a shout out Recovery Room again. Give us all your handles and websites and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah. So Recovery Room, IV Therapy and Wellness. We're located in Old Town Scottsdale. We're next to Boondocks, kitty corner from Fox Cigar Lounge, 6th Ave and 75th Street.
Right up the street.
Yeah. Suite 105. Our IG handle is Recovery Room Arizona. And our website is www.recoveryroomaz.com. Phone number is 480-687-8091.
Cool. Thanks, buddy. Everybody out there, thank you. Remember, Recovery Room and Zack. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you, guys.